Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Not Your Average Glow Up. This is a safe place where we talk all things mental health, spirituality, and quite a bit of tarot. Today's video is completely impromptu. I was not planning on filming this at all. I'm just a little bit nervous and anxious because today I'm going to my ex's house to pick up some of my material belongings, and it's just the unknown. It makes me anxious, you know? I like structure, I like planning things, and I just don't know how, that exchange of energy is going to take place today. So I'm just hoping and wishing for the best. But one thing that I like to do when I get too into my head is to, instead of being a me mindset, because that's what creates anxiousness, that's what creates depression, is we view things through a me lens. Oh my gosh, how will this situation go for me? What will I be feeling? What will I get out of this experience? One of the things that I like to do when I get too in my head is I like to alchemize that anxious energy, and instead of stepping out of a me energy and into a giver-server energy instead. I like to alchemize that anxiousness and create with it. It's something that I highly suggest for all the people that I work with. Is if they struggle with anxiety or depression, I strongly encourage them to create in whatever way that means to them. Are they an entrepreneur? Well, how can you turn this into a project? Are they a creator, like on YouTube or something? Well, how can you make a video from it? And I'm not talking about in a like how can they gain monetarily. That's not the point. The point is, how can I step out of a me consumer mindset into a giver mindset? I'm not making any money from this video. This is not for attention or validation. This is simply just me getting out of a selfish head space and more into a creator space. Because when you open yourself up and you give, your palms are then open to receive from the universe, because you're getting out of your own way, okay? So whenever I get too much into my head and I need something to do, I then go, okay, well, let me just make a video. Well, today's video is completely unplanned. So I pulled some cards and I said, Spirit, what do you want me to talk about today? So today is not a tarot reading. These cards are on the table because I asked Spirit what today's video should be about. And Spirit started talking to me today about friendship and the true meaning of friendship and befriending the universe, and how a lot of people don't understand what friendship actually is. So first I want to talk to you guys about what friendship is not. Society has shifted us into this belief system that that our friends and our acquaintances and who we have in our life have to benefit us in some way. We take a very what is the word? Utilitarian approach to our friendships, where it's like, say for example, I make a friend at work. On a subconscious level, I believe that that friend can benefit me in some way at work. Maybe they can show me the ropes, or they could be an emotional support because they are understanding the things that I'm going through, or maybe they are higher up on the ladder. And on a subconscious level, we always take this approach. Even our friends that we meet at like the gym or something, a lot of times we make friends at the gym because on a subconscious level we are wanting to get those gains and we feel like they could help us, benefit us in some way. We're always taking this approach on how can someone benefit us. But then if we're doing that, and it's something you have to be mindful of. It's something you have to ask yourself, why am I choosing to create this friendship with this person? Because this is all on a subconscious level. Everyone takes this approach. It doesn't mean you're a shit person, but this is success mentality of oh, I have to check off this bucket list of, oh, I have to, be a successful business person. I have to have a nice home. I have to have a beautiful family. I have to, dot, 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 dot. We get in this utilitarian mindset, even with our friendships. And it's left a lot of people that are even in a room full of friends feeling quite lonely because they're not able to show up authentically in their friendships, because on a subconscious level, they feel that if they were to show up authentically, if they were to be vulnerable, if they were to be raw, if they were to be messy, if they were to be imperfect or whatever, that because of that utilitarian mindset, because of that what can I gain from you perspective that we have around friendships, that their friends will no longer want them to be friends, because then they wouldn't be gaining something for them. We have this give or take energy within our friendships, and that's not what friendship is at all. And I think with this whole age of Aquarius and this global awakening thing that we're all universally going through right now, I think people are waking up to the fact that even if they're an extrovert, even if they are surrounded by a good core group of friends, that they don't actually have real friends, because they don't know what unconditional love truly is. Because even if those friends have been an emotional support for them, even if those friends have been somebody who's been there for them even when they were at bottom, even if those friends have been there through the ups and downs, they've come to realize that they still had something to gain, and that they still weren't truly being authentic. So then you may ask, well, Sam, what does friendship actually mean? True divine friendship. Oops. Sorry, my phone just went kerplunk. True divine friendship is something that I am still trying to gain an understanding of. So I'm not coming to you today as, oh, I've got it all figured out. No. But from my understanding, from my perspective right now, what I'm beginning to learn is that friendship is when you're completely and totally authentically yourself, and that person sees your true authentic nature and they go, I like that human. That it's simple. It's really genuinely a very simple concept. True friendship tends to find you when you're not looking for it. True friendship tends to find you when you're just being your true, messy human self. And it's very rare to find unconditional love and true friendship, because a lot of times when we think of unconditional love, we think of it in a romanticized nature, because unconditional love is so valuable and so rare that we want to gobble it up romantically. But to find it platonically is one of the most beautiful things in the world, But because it's so rare, sometimes it leaves you feeling rather lonely, to feel like, oh, okay, I can't truly let my hair down. I can't truly be myself, because if I do that, then it won't be well received. It won't be loved. I might lose my job, or these friends will think that I'm uncool, or these people won't want to date me, or whatever, blah, So where do we first find friendship, and how do we gain it? You're not going to like this answer, but the first thing to do is to befriend the universe, to befriend God, to befriend spirit. And this is one thing that I've become rather good at. And I don't mean that in a, I'm so loved by spirit. I mean it in like a genuine sense. I hit my rock bottom, and I felt rather alone, and I felt rather othered, and I felt rather hopeless. And Spirit was there to remind me that they loved me for me, and that the reason that I had hit rock bottom and the reason that I had felt alone wasn't because nobody loved the real me. It was because I was too afraid to show the world the real me. And that the people that were leaving and exiting my life, the people that were responsible for me feeling so alone, they never actually liked me. They liked the persona, the me, or what they could gain from me. I had a best friend of 20 plus years exit my life last year, and that was incredibly painful. I was like, why would that happen? Like, I loved this person and they loved me, and we'd been friends through the ups and the downs and the this and the that, and they had seen me in all my messiest breakups, and I thought that they were a true friend because of that. And Spirit was like, but every time you hung out with each other, you were extroverted, Sam. You were going out partying, or you doing these big crazy manic parties, and you were planning all these big events, or you were doing all these things. You were always on with her. I don't think, Sam, that you've ever been off with her. And every time you tried to be off with her and be pulled back and be relaxed and not be that energetic fuel for her, that little charge, that little energy boost she needed, whether it was a burst of inspiration or a burst of creativity, or somebody to bounce ideas off of, or somebody to be, a party buddy. Every time you try to just peel it back and just be raw and real and vulnerable and relaxed, she was bored. That's not a friend. And then I had a friend a few years back where I love this girl to death, and I still love her to bits and pieces. But I had a friend a couple years back that I had to cut off because she was a very bad addict. And the last 2 years of our friendship just became her constantly asking me for money or handouts or to babysit her kid, where it got to the point where at one point in time I was putting money on her electricity and stuff almost monthly for like 6 months in a row. I kept trying to show grace and unconditional love because I knew who she was before the drugs, before the craziness. And I was like, well, this isn't who she is. And I was trying to love her for who she is. So cutting her off was incredibly difficult for me. And even though I was the one to do it, I still had to mourn that loss. And I struggled deeply with, Spirit, why would that, why did that have to happen? And Spirit was saying once again, because it wasn't a reciprocated energy, it wasn't a reciprocal friendship. It was just give. How much can you give? You're just being a little Energizer bunny, just going around clanking your cymbals. For her, it was almost like an energetic clean out. I would come in, she'd be on a down after lots of highs, and I'd come in and I would like literally clean her house. I'd give her kid a bath. I would cook. If it wasn't stuff to cook, I would like go to the store, get some groceries. If she needed a rest because she had been up for days on end, I would just get her son, load him up, take him to my house. And then oftentimes I would have to call the law and stuff because she was surrounded by toxic relationships. And it was like I was just that little energetic bunny just coming in, just clamping my cymbals like, Satan, get out. We're not doing this. Clear this energy out. And I was that way for her. And there was a mirrored energy between the two people that I just talked about, the friend for 20-something years and this person. For both of them, I was this energetic bunny, and I was always on. I could never truly just take a full, still breath. And there's so many others, so many others. Like, I could go on for days and days and days about these specific people that I just had over the last couple of years. It was just like, cut them off, cut them off, cut them off. And it was like, God, if I cut another freaking person off, there's not going to be anybody left. And Spirit looked at me and they said, good. Because the people you've been around yourself with, they don't love you. They love the energy you provide them with. They love the boost, the happiness. They love the creativity. They love the ideas you give them. They love the money you give them. I had so many friends coming to me constantly at one point in time where it was like literally every week I would have girls coming to me to ask to borrow my clothes and stuff, which I don't mind doing. But it became like a weekly thing where people were coming to me to ask to borrow my clothes for like a photo shoot, and will I do their hair and makeup, and by the way, do I want to take the photos for them, and this, that, and the other. And it just, I became such a giver that I forgot to take pause. I was always on. It was like I was a little, marionette, and they just had the strings, and I'm over here like, you want me to do a little tap dance for you? Because apparently I'm going to. When you say jump, this monkey's gonna jump, because I thought that was love. I thought that unconditional love meant that I could just give when I wasn't receiving. I thought that that's what unconditional love was that I love them even when they're not loving me. That's not of truth at all. Unconditional love means that you constantly want what's for their highest good. That's the most simplified way I can put it. And sometimes that means walking away. Sometimes that means cutting them off. And they can perceive that as an act of hatred or judgment or belittlement, or that you think you're better than them, like you're walking in arrogance, or that you're trying to control or dictate their lives by like cutting them off or whatever. But it's actually an act of love, because it's like, for example, okay, I once heard a speaker say something about this, and it just resonated so deeply with me, that like, for example, sometimes the hero complex can be incredibly toxic, because in order to have somebody to be saving, there always has to be somebody beneath you, right? And they use the example of like these Christian missionaries, that their heart's in the right place. They think they're doing something good by going to like these third world countries and bringing them like these bags of rice and building them their houses and doing this and that and the other, right? But a lot of problems when they do some of this is that then those people grow a dependency on that constant outreach, and they lose sight of their culture and their ability to care for themselves. It's like a gentrified version of colonization is all it is. It's you're teaching those people to be dependent on handouts, and then they're losing themselves. They're losing that hunter-gatherer aspect of their culture. They're losing their authentic expression. They're losing their traditional foods and so on and so forth. And I'm not saying you shouldn't give, and I'm not saying missionary work is bad. It's not inherently bad. You just have to be mindful of the way you do it. Me and my friend Josh had a long conversation about socialism the other day, and like ways that like socialism can work and doesn't work and stuff. I still don't know where I stand on that, because to be frank, I'm not knowledgeable enough on the subject. But it's one of his special interests. So I was just happy to entertain the banter. you know. But that talk about missionaries and the hero complex and the problem with the hero complex bothered me, because back then, like, I have a very humanitarian sort of mindset. Like, for the longest, I wanted to be a missionary. Like, that was a goal of mine. So it was like, wait a minute, what? But there's people that need, saving. There's people that need, assistance. Are we not supposed to assist? And that's not the message. It's not that you're not supposed to assist. It's not that you're not supposed to sometimes mediate or mitigate. It's that you are, you have to know when to pull back. You have to know when it's not your place. You have to know when you're playing God. And sometimes we think we're right and we think we're saving somebody when really we're doing them a disservice. Prime example, the Christian church. I said what I said. I'll make no apologies for it. Sorry if you're Christian and that offended you. But look at how many wars and stuff were. Just saying. But true friendship is being able to show up unmasked, pulled back, completely and totally authentically yourself, not having to be on. It's non-performative. It's this beautiful, energetic acceptance. It's quiet peace. True friendship, I know I found it with somebody when I can literally just sit in a room with them, completely pulled back, vulnerable, and not feel uncomfortable in any way. Like, not feeling like, oh, I have to entertain a conversation, or that I have to do something in some way. You know what I mean? It's rare to find, but I've found it. So it's out there. But first you have to befriend the universe. And the simplest and easiest way to do so is to befriend yourself. And that's what Spirit is wanting to, is wanting me to speak on. They're wanting me to speak on aligning to your true, authentic nature and finding the confidence in being yourself and being a friend to the universe and kind of being like on the right side of karma. Although karma is grossly misunderstood in the spiritual community. It's not, you do good so you get good, and then you do bad so you get bad, Like, there's so many people who think oh, this person's poor in this lifetime because they were a shit person in the last lifetime. That's not karma. That's not how karma works. But it's genuinely having others' best interest at heart, even if it can be misperceived as you being cold or detached. If you know that your energy is not healthy, like if your energy doesn't mix well with somebody else's energy, and sometimes the healthiest and best, most loving thing you can do is pull your energy back. Is just go, okay, well, we don't mingle well. But that doesn't mean that I hate you. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. Those two examples of old friends that I have, I love both of them dearly. I actually pray for them every single day. And I look back at our pictures and I just smile and I go, thank you, God. 404 on the clock when I said that. It was 2404, but 404 is the angel number. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is call somebody out on their bullshit. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is to just sit with somebody while they break down, and to not preach at them, and to not feel the need to give them all the advice and all the stuff unless they ask for it. Sometimes the best thing we can do is to be that that energizer bunny for someone when they need it, when it's authentic, when it's real, when it's non-performative. Sometimes you need that friend to grab you by the arm, go, what the fuck is that attitude, man? Come on, get up. Bobby, my roommate, did that for me yesterday. I was all in my feelings because I had a disagreement with someone. And Bobby was like, Sam, this attitude is not it. Like, and he wasn't being mean, but he was being very like direct, almost fatherly. He was like, you can't let this person get to you this way. He's like, you let them get your panties all in a twist. You got all fired up, and we're not doing that. And you're better than that. And I'm not putting up with that bullshit. And you're not bringing that energy to my house. And I wasn't being like combative or causing any sort of drama or anything in the house. But he was just saying like, I let somebody else get me way too emotional. And that this house, this environment, this family that I'm staying with is all about forward momentum and growth. And that that I'm completely valid in my emotions, and that I'm going through a lot, and that they understand that. But they're not going to allow me to take a step back because my emotions got the best of me. They're going to hold me emotionally accountable. And I was like, ow, that fucking hurt. But I needed it. You know, it was like that. I always joke that one of my spirit guides has the energy of like a wise woman with a flip-flop. She just kind of smacks you over the head with it sometimes. I don't even know if this like spirit guide has feminine or masculine energy, but I have a specific spirit guide that comes through sometimes. Hush! Sorry, the dog's barking. I have a spirit guide that comes through sometimes where it's like sometimes the advice, the love that they give hurts. It's like a spanking. It's like being smacked across the face, like being shooken, you know? They're like very like forthright with their energy. Like if I am like, woe is me and why and blah, 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 they're just gonna smack me and go, the fuck? Is that attitude? No! You know? Like, sometimes you need that shake up. Sometimes that is love. And I'm not advocating for somebody to hit you with a flip-flop. I'm talking about a spirit guide and energy, you know? But sometimes you need somebody like Bobby yesterday to say, the fuck is that attitude? We're not doing that. That's not allowed. I'm sorry, but your feelings are valid, but this shit is not okay. Sometimes that's love. And I think sometimes we get into this mindset of friendship always has to feel good. And that's just simply not true. Not with our earthly friends, not with our spirit guides, not with God, not with the universe, not with our romantic lovers. That's not friendship. But it also shouldn't feel bad. It shouldn't feel, there was never even a second when Bobby corrected me yesterday that I felt even for a second like he was judging me or being dismissive of my feelings or being cold at all. Even in the midst of him being like, the fuck, there was so much overpouring love. It was soothing. It was like simultaneously getting a sunburn whilst somebody is placing aloe on it. It was like I knew it was an act of love. I knew in that moment it was because he believed that I was better than that. That's friendship. And that's what Spirit wants to speak to you. This isn't just about earthly friends. And if it's resonating, if you're watching this video and you're realizing, oh shit, maybe I don't have real friends, that's okay. I was at that exact same place last year. That's okay. You can make some new ones, you know? But I also want you to know that sometimes it's that way with the universe too. that the universe will always love you and always have your best interest at heart, but sometimes it's not gentle. Sometimes it's a shakeup. Sometimes it's you've got yourself into something so fucking thick that I'm gonna make you sit there for a minute. I'm gonna make you feel that hurt because you need to learn the lesson. The universe is not that, what is the word? Enabling. The universe is not going to be the enabling mother or grandmother that's like, that's my sweet baby that can do no wrong. Yeah, you know that person, that mother or that grandmother that, like, it's like the kid is being absolute fucking hell at like the family function, and the parent goes to correct them and like is like, fine, well, you're not getting chocolate cake, and then the grandma comes in with the chocolate cake and goes, you're not gonna discipline my sweet baby, they're just perfect. No, sometimes that child needs, no. Like, no, that kid is acting like pure fucking hell. They need correction. They need to know that that behavior is not okay. And you don't have to smack them. You don't have to beat them. You don't have to whatever. But sometimes we get like gentle parenting mixed up with dismissive parenting. I practice gentle parenting. 31:13 on the clock. So 3113 on the clock when I said that. I practice gentle parenting. I try not spank my kids or whatever. I used to in the past. And I try to not yell. I try to communicate or whatever. But I still very much so correct my kids. I don't let my kids just run crazy and rampant and do whatever the fuck they want, because one, that's dangerous, and two, it doesn't benefit them in the long run. You know, it doesn't benefit me as their mother in the long run. It doesn't benefit society in the long run. And God, the universe, has that similar approach where sometimes they're just going to be like, the fuck are you doing? No, absolutely not. You're being a brat. I once used the analogy, and I got into a little bit of trouble. I got a little bit of backlash for using this analogy. But I once used the analogy that if God, the universe, had a kink, that God would be a brat tamer and we're all the brats. Like, in like a BDSM sort of sense, that God is a brat tamer. And I wholeheartedly stand by that we're all a bunch of fucking bratty kids, and that sometimes we need correction. And that is love. That is friendship. And it all comes back to sovereignty, authenticity, and reconciliation. That we have to align ourselves with the energy of authenticity and be confident in being our true authentic self, and reconcile our malleable natures, our feminine and masculine sides, our messy and our more appealing sides, our light and our dark. That we have to marry those things together and show up confidently in who we are, and that sometimes that will be rejected, and that true friendship is those that see it and they love it and they go, hell yeah, that's my kind of human, you know? So that is today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it wasn't too rambly, and wish me luck today, because I am a little bit nervous, so I'm hoping everything goes well. I love you guys. I wish you all the very, very best.